Have you ever wondered how long a sabbatical should actually be? A week, a month, 6 months, a year? Most people assume a sabbatical only counts if you take a full year away from work. And because for many that feels impossible, they never consider taking one at all. But what if that's the wrong question? What if the better question is, how much recovery do you actually need? Because the truth is, the right sabbatical length isn't what everyone else is doing. It's not just about that. It's about what your mind, body, finances, and season of life are asking for. And here's something I've noticed. The women who wait the longest to pause often need the longest recovery. If your weekends no longer recharge you, if vacations leave you feeling exhausted instead of refreshed, if you're constantly telling yourself you'll rest after the next project, promotion, or deadline, your body may be asking you for something more than PTO. And that's exactly what we're talking about here today. I'm going to walk you through a simple framework to help you understand what different sabbatical lengths can realistically accomplish so you can begin thinking about what might fit your life. And if you are a high achieving woman in STEM who's been wondering whether a sabbatical or work break or hiatus or adult gap year is even possible for you, schedule a strategy session with me and we'll review your vision and discover what's possible. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. On this channel, we talk about financial freedom, cash flow clarity, and creating more options so you can build a life that includes both success and peace of mind. Now let's jump right in. Many high-achieving women become so skilled at pushing through stress, they're losing sight of what recovery is supposed to feel like. Burnout rarely arrives all at once. It accumulates. One deadline, one responsibility, one difficult season after another, until eventually your body starts whispering messages you can no longer ignore. You feel tired all the time. You struggle to focus. You're constantly busy, but somehow never feel present. And the hardest part, you may look successful on the outside while feeling completely depleted on the inside. That's why understanding recovery timelines matters, because not all rest creates the same result. Let's start with 1 week. A 1 week break can be absolutely refreshing. It can help you catch your breath, sleep a little, step away from the daily demands of work. But for most people experiencing chronic stress or burnout, 1 week functions more like a vacation than a sabbatical, a true sabbatical. You are usually spending the first few days mentally leaving work behind, and by the time you've relaxed, it's time to return. It's valuable, but it's rarely transformational. Now let's talk about 2 weeks. 2 weeks often gives your nervous system enough time to begin slowing down. The first week is usually spent unwinding, catching up on sleep, reducing all the mental clutter, allowing your body to finally realize it's safe to rest. Then something interesting happens. During the second week, many people begin feeling present again. They start noticing things, ideas return, creativity returns, energy starts returning, which explains why so many people come back from a vacation saying they need another vacation. They're just beginning to decompress and then it's over. So let me ask you something. Have you ever come back from a trip and realized it took almost the entire trip just to stop thinking about work? If that's happened to you, leave a yes in the comments. You're definitely not alone. Now let's talk about 4 weeks. This is where a shift begins. For many professionals, 1 month is the point where a meaningful sabbatical starts. My definition of a sabbatical is a minimum length of 1 month, 4 consecutive weeks. At this point, you've moved beyond immediate decompression. You've stopped checking emails every few minutes. You've stopped operating in constant reaction mode. And for the first time in a long time, you have enough space to hear yourself think. This is where clarity often starts showing up. Questions begin surfacing like, what do I actually want next? Am I happy with the pace of my life? What would I change if I gave myself permission? For many women, 1 month becomes the first opportunity to reconnect with themselves outside of their job title. If you're wondering where to start, 1 month is often a realistic, powerful first sabbatical goal. So far, we've talked about recovery. Now let's talk about transformation, because that's where longer sabbaticals begin to create something different. Let's move to 3 months. 3 months creates enough distance from work to start seeing your life through a different lens. This is where many people experience deeper recovery. mental clarity improves, creativity improves, emotional resilience improves, and perhaps most importantly, your identity begins expanding beyond performance and productivity. Instead of asking, what do I need to get done next? You start asking, what do I actually want? What do I desire? And those are very different questions. Now let's talk about 6 months. 6 months, that creates room not just to recover, but to rebuild. Many high achievers spend years tying their worth to achievement, to results, to being the dependable person everyone can count on. When work is no longer filling every hour, a new opportunity emerges. You get to rediscover yourself. What brings you joy? What energizes you? What kind of life do you want to create moving forward? 6 months gives those questions room to breathe, and that can be incredibly powerful. Finally, let's talk about 1 year. A year-long sabbatical offers something entirely different. This isn't simply rest. It's recalibration. It's enough time to live differently, to travel, to learn, to create, to volunteer, to care for loved ones, or simply to experience life at a pace that allows you to reconnect with what matters most. For some people, a year changes everything. For others, they discover they never needed a year at all, and that's important because longer isn't automatically better. The goal isn't to take the longest sabbatical possible. The goal is to create enough space to support the life you're trying to build, the freedom you want. Here's what I want you to remember. There's no perfect sabbatical length, only the length that aligns with your needs, your finances, your goals, and your season of life. Most people don't begin with a year. Many start with 1 month. I definitely suggest this. 3 months or 6 months. The important thing is recognizing that intentional recovery isn't a luxury. It's a strategy that protects your well-being, a strategy that creates more clarity, a strategy that helps you continue doing meaningful work without sacrificing yourself in the process. Because your life deserves more than surviving until the next vacation. It deserves enough space to breathe. If you've been wondering whether a sabbatical could fit into your financial plan, I'd love to help. You can schedule a strategy session, a sabbatical strategy session using the link below, and we'll talk about what creating more flexibility and freedom could look like for your future. And now I'd love to hear from you. If time and money were already handled, how long would your ideal sabbatical be and why? 1 month, 3 months, a year? Tell me in the comments. If this video helped you think differently about what's possible, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, please share it with someone who may need permission to pause. Remember this, you do not need to burn out first before giving yourself space to recover. Peace of mind, it isn't a dream, it's a plan, it's a strategy, and sometimes that plan begins with giving yourself permission to rest. I'll see you in the next video, Wealth Gap Closers.